Public service media in Ukraine started in 2017, so we are facing our 5 years of history in this quite challenging situation, especially after the full-scale Russian invasion started in Ukraine. So first of all, it's very important to understand that our editorial standards are very high. So for the whole population of Ukraine, public media, UAPBC in Ukraine, was always a reliable source of information. And we received quite a strong feedback from people living on the occupied territories after February 22, because they were telling us about their experience of listening, especially listening to our news on radio, knowing for sure that they can rely on these informations. That's why we were, for example, the main source of information about the evacuation itineraries for people willing to leave the occupied territories. The same way we are providing news about the air alerts, for example, and the Russians' strike on the Ukrainian territories. Speaking about changes we needed to make, of course, it's dealing especially with security issues. Now we have bomb shelters which unfortunately are used during every air attack from the Russian side. So now we are having radio as well as TV studios in the bomb shelters underground, and our TV and radio presenters need to go downstairs underground to provide as reliable broadcasting without any stop, just to help our audience to stay informed. So I would like to say that unfortunately security issue is maybe the most important in this context. For the team of Radio Culture, I'm leading culture as a topic was never something about just only pure art. We were always referring to the culture as a way of being together, stay solidar, and feel and understand our identity and be in a strong, solidar community. So after the full-scale Russian invasion started, we understood that that's our mission to talk more about it. Of course, culture is in danger because cultural sites and also people of culture are targeted by Russian attacks. So unfortunately we need to speak and to provide news about destroyed libraries as well as concert halls or museums or other sites of culture. But also we are trying to speak as more as we can about culture as the instrument to be stronger together, as a source of hope, as a source of strength for all the Ukrainian people. And I think we can feel the feedback from our audience watching the numbers of the feedback we are having from different kinds of content we are creating. For example, our programs dealing with the topic of classical culture, not only classical music, but also classical Ukrainian literature, for example, are having very strong feedback from our listeners. And I think that's because of people willing to understand better their own culture and to understand their Ukrainian identity. And the third point I would like to stress that culture and media are strongest together, and we can see it if we look into statistic. The share of our radio listeners doubled after the full-scale invasion because people are believing the radio and are understanding that the radio is a reliable source of information. No matter about what we are speaking about, culture or politics or news or maybe some contemporary music, they can rely on us. So UAPBC as a public service media in Ukraine is very important as a source of really important and really reliable news. I think that AI is a very interesting topic, and everybody is crazy about AI, even ordinary people not working in media. And maybe you need to think about two ways of understanding AI. One of these two ways is, of course, think about AI as a possibility to facilitate something, like make the creation of the text easier, especially the transcription from audio to text, for example. But on the other hand, AI, it's the second way I would like to speak about. AI can represent some danger, especially when we are thinking about the spread of disinformation. We cannot verify any message AI on ChatGPT, for example, is providing to the ordinary customer, it can be linked with some disinformation disseminated by other resources. I'm speaking about fake news, of course. So now we can think about AI, learn ourselves how to work with AI, but also being vigilant with AI because it can be quite dangerous. I think that it's very important to live in a big radio family, and the big family of different radios having a long and sustainable history. I know that in Romania, radio as a media is very important, and this 95 years of history just show it in a very clear way. And I think that we can feel very easily that our listeners believe in us, and they are willing to maintain their habit to listen to the radio, as well as we can see we have new listeners. Even younger audience are trying to have this habit to listen to the radio. Maybe not through some traditional radio waves or frequencies, but through digital streaming, for example, or through other ways of digital content, audio content, like podcasts, for example, which can be created by the teams of radio, like Radio Romania is. So, me as a representative of the Ukrainian radio, which also has its own long history, I would like to celebrate this anniversary and to say my congratulations to my colleague from Radio Romania.